It was difficult, you know. I spoke English, first language. I came from a very English background, but I'd spoken Afrikaans second language. I'm fluent in Afrikaans, so I can read and write and converse and work in the language. But it wasn't my language of choice, and I lived in an environment where an Afrikaans government had given us an environment that I didn't agree with. You know, my surname is Skinstad. It's a Scandinavian origin. I think I got to my second year in Stellenbosch before they realized it wasn't Afrikaans. Maybe that's why I got picked. But in fact, I remember a story. So I went in at the end of my first year. I was picked as the captain, and good example. The coach obviously didn't know that Skinstad wasn't Skinstad. It came from Schoenstatt, which is a small town on the coast of Norway, and literally, I don't know, 150 odd years ago, my dad's grandparents moved to South Africa, and we went into the change room, and I was the only guy in the change room who spoke English as a first language. And you have quite a traditional environment in South Africa. You know, I'm not particularly religious myself, and I've got no qualms with anyone who is, but rugby is a full contact sport, and all the Afrikaans schools growing up, they pray. You take a knee and you pray before the game. Now, whether you're religious or not, you know, let's just say you're a hedge betting man, it's not a bad option to, you know, just to say a few words before this full contact sport, and we've seen how dangerous it can be. So we get this circle of people together, and the coach looks at me, and here's your first lesson in Afrikaans. The coach looks at me and he says, "Kom ons bid." So I look at him and I go, I know this bit. Well, I obviously don't say it, but you know, mentally I'm going, okay, because I mean, I only started shaving probably last week, as Woody would tell you. At this stage, I'd met all these guys. I'm 19. Everybody looks like a Neanderthal. And I look around and I realize I know what he needs from me. He needs a bit of leadership. He needs so I give myself a slightly more gruff voice, and I shout a little bit, and I walk across the group, and I played with guys like Kobus Versace, who played for Saracens for years, and I slapped him in the face. And I stamped my foot a little bit, and I sort of shook, you know, the stuff you guys are good at in the front row there. I try to avoid it for all the years, and I sort of made my case a little bit, and then I went back to my position. I looked at the coach, and you could see he was veritably pleased about this situation unfolding. But then he said to me again, he said the same word. He said, "Kom ons bid." And I thought, I can't believe I haven't done enough here, but I'm going to take some prisoners. And I went out, and there were a couple of outside backs. Brayton Paulser was playing in our team in the under-19. He moved out of the circle. He wouldn't let me come close to him because I was slapping and kicking. I was doing... And I went in almost for a headbutt on one of the guys. I thought, we don't want to take him down, but I was growling as low as I could. It was still a squeaky voice, actually. And I went back to my spot, and I was next to a guy called Wayne Munn. And Wayne came over and played rugby here for Connaught, played scrum off and wing for Connaught for a couple of years. And Wayne was a particularly talented player, schoolboy level, played SA under 21 with me, but he was with me at Stellenbosch. And his mum was Afrikaans, and his dad was English. So at that stage, he could speak more Afrikaans than me. And he whispered under his breath the real meaning of Kom ons bid, which was, "Let us pray." And I stopped sweating, and I said the first prayer which came to mind. I said, "For what we're about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful." And it won't surprise you that I've never been asked back to Stellenbosch University to do any form of motivational speaking